Listening is very similar to reading because they both are receptive skills. So the theory is almost the same. And let's go. Mhm. First question: why do students want to understand what people say in English? Any any ideas? Any comments? I comment my case. For example, when I was 12 years old, no more. I was 14, I think. I bought my first CD. Now I have a big collection of CDs. I don't want to jump into vinyls. It's too expensive. But for me, what brought my attention was because my first CD was Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1, and I couldn't really understand what Axel was talking about. So I started reading the booklet, but I didn't understand anything. And then I started using a dictionary those times because we didn't have internet. So what I wanted to know as a regular person, I wanted to know what that guy was saying, honestly. That was one example. Yes, great album, Alejandro. Alejandro, in your case, what brought your attention to know what people are saying in English?
Well, I remember kind of similar when I was a child. The
Mhm,
first time that I have a contact with a native speaker English, I was a
mm,
member of one kind of religion, and
mhm,
one some guys who come here to Peru. I was not in shock, but got interested. It's like
mhm.
a challenge. Bro. I want to understand what they are talking, not to me. Yeah, but
Yeah,
and I said one day I gonna speak, I gonna learn, and that happened. That's what I got interested. Teacher.
yeah. Thank you for sharing your experience. Some other ideas. Why do students want to understand what people say in English? Need for communication. Thank you, Karin. Anybody else? I wait for you. Mm-hmm. To make new friends. Yes, thank you. Any other idea? Contact other people around the world. Yes, thank you, Jack. Yep. Thank you, guys. Like in the case, the two girls that I'm teaching, I told them that these two old ladies want English because they want to go to Disney. And then the younger is saying, well, the older kid asked the younger, she said, do you think you're gonna buy ice cream? Do you think you're gonna be able to buy ice cream in Disney? Even if you have the money, you're not gonna buy ice cream. Don't even understand how much they are. So the small kid started thinking, really? I need to understand the price for ice cream in Disney. I have to study, I have to speak English. Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, similarly to the reading, we have intensive and extensive. Intensive, students do it for pleasure. No, this is backwards. Okay, I'm sorry. But the first one is about music, videos, cartoons, tales, podcasts, while intensive should be do it as part of the class, with laboratories and English teachers there. I'm sorry for that mistake. Remember that I told you this is it's way better than the training we gave with Belfort 2 years ago. It has more advantages. This has three books because we are not repeating the same mistake of giving you only one book, but it made me give me some more job here. Listening genres, we have authentic and not authentic. Of course, authentic material are the ones that are made in the real situations, while not authentic are the materials who are elaborated for our classes, basically. Mm, of course, you cannot give a kid a conversation for two adult, young adult people. They are not going to understand anything, right? And also, this is a balance for teaching English. For very low levels, the materials, the book that the companies, their material are authentic, but however, the topics are some some way easier for the learners. And there is a balance, right? You can also criticize, okay, but they are choosing this context of this one for the basic levels. And sometimes the speakers in the basic levels speak slower. That's true, but it's done by native speakers. It is also authentic. So it's a matter of debate. Okay. So as long as the learners, the students are learning, the higher they get, they are gonna be given more authentic material. But basically, those are the two genres in listening. The listening skills are basically as the skimming, scanning, and reading in detail, except for paralinguistic clues. Let's see. I need one volunteer who can read about specific information. Somebody. Isabel, can you read please about specific information?
Okay, teacher. Specific information. For example, times, telephone numbers, names.
Thank you. General understanding. Somebody? Somebody, please.
Yes, teacher Jack.
Yeah.
But I can see that. Okay. General understandings. For example, a story interacting in a social conversation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. These two are similar to what we have previously seen. That will be skimming, scanning, and here the paralinguistic clues is to understand mood and meaning. This is also important, especially when I prepare students for TOEFL. There is I don't remember the kind of questions in the TOEFL IBT, but there is a set of questions in the TOEFL IBT in which the questions are directly about if the speaker is stressed, is concerned. I have never seen if the speaker a question saying if the speaker is sad, but basically more than simply getting all the words, all the context, the details in your listening. More than that are these things, like how does the speaker feel? And yeah, little by little, it is also a good way that you let your students know. I repeat, sooner or later, some of your students, I'm sure, are going to be facing those international English exams, and they will remember you. I bet. I'm sure I will remember you forever in those cases. That's good to be a teacher. It's a rewarding profession. Probably not economically, but rewarding in other terms. Principle for listening: to listen as much as often as possible. To listen as often as much as possible. We have already seen that in the reading. Once may not be enough. When I was a new teacher, I was told that repeat as many times as the students. I'm sorry for that noise. Those are the delivery guys. At this time, people like pollo loras. I know. Once may not be enough. um, as I was telling you, when I was a new teacher, I was told to repeat as many times as students want. That would be good for them. So don't never say no because of time, two times, three times. It will be better. The more the better. Different listening stages demand different listening tasks. That is also the right process because in
Ojalá
the
que sea.
listening,
¿Ya llevaron el Nacho? ¿O llevaron la laptop? No, el Nacho, porque yo tengo que llevar la laptop. Ya vamos, papi, vamos a comer.
Um, just a second. Okay. As I was telling you in the investigation that I made, I joined to save time. I joined all the activities, activity A, B, C, D in listenings, which it has other benefits that I explained it to you, like to make complex sentences. But remember, in all those A, B, C in the listenings, each of them basically cater different abilities. So that's why I told you that in these investigations, you have to accept critics. For one instance, it could be better to for the student's elaboration, but about this one, you can always say no because activity A is for this, activity B is for more in detail, and activity C is like they personalize, as we have seen in the case of the cat. Help the students to prepare to listening, as you know, is with basically vocabulary, context, to respond to the content of listening, not just the language. As we read, like how the speakers feel. Good teachers exploit the listening text to the full, as we have seen also. You can make much stretching on your activities. Remember, stretching is like giving extra exercises from your reading or listening. Extra exercises like summary, what did you understand, or what is the mood that is stretching. So you can exploit those materials. It's very similar to the reading. Listening suggestions, jigsaw. Let's see. Who can explain what jigsaw is? We have seen in the other presentation. Who remembers what jigsaw activities are? Yes, Alejandro.
What I remember, teacher, is that this is an activity, it's a reading activity, but you don't give all the information. It's just in chance, so it's divided in order
Mhm.
that the information is incomplete. Just to you need to work together, maybe two students or two groups, in order to to work together, just to share the information that they have in order to figure out some questions or some objectives of the class.
Thank you, Alejandro. That's it. That's Jigsaw. Message taking. Remember that is, well, it's not part of our culture, but in the US, yes. Especially, well, now we use cell phones. Yes, you can carry a cell phone, but message taking is when you're not home, yes? Or probably in hospitals, you can leave messages, yes? Music and sound effects. Oh, there was a question here.
Ah,
For example, no, I'm confusing with the speaking part. No, that's good. Music and sound effects. Yeah, to see about those things that we have discussed here. Paralinguistic clues. Sound effects can be a horror story, can be a sad story. That's the music. Stories, poetry, monologues. And the monologues can be also those things like the lectures from universities. For example, in TOEFL, it's usually lectures from universities. News and other radio genres. That's for more advanced students. Yeah, we have already seen that. So let's go straight to the exercises. Exercise one. Are all the points relevant to listening lessons? I need somebody who can read the first two bullets, please. Any volunteer? Melatina, can you read, please?
Yes, teacher. The level of the text is important. It should change learner without being too difficult.
The next one.
The
The
next
next
one,
one, Valentina. Yes,
okay.
the first two. Mhm.
All the text or only the first and the second?
The first and the second.
Okay. Teachers needs to consider whether there is a need to pre-teach a few items of vocabulary.
Thank you. Oh, remember, in these exercises, the term text does not refer exclusively to written text. Huh? The book refers to text, to the script, right? You're getting what I'm saying. To the script that the students are going to listen. That's what the book refers with the word text. The next two bullets, somebody
Yes,
take a
teacher. Need
screenshot. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Claudia, can you read, please?
Yes, teacher. Teachers need to set meaningful tasks before reading, listening to help understanding and to mirror their real life situation of reading, listening for a purpose.
The next one.
After reading, listening, learners should have the opportunity to compare answers with each other before checking with the teacher.
Thank you. Let's see if we have some more here. Okay. Jack, can you read these three ones, please?
listening reading skills can be subdivided to include such things and gets understanding, getting an overall idea, or a more detailed understanding. As the next, typically learners will read, listen to the same text more than once. And the last, teachers should try to build some interest in the text before setting reading listening test.
Thank you. Okay, so the question is, are all the points relevant to listening lessons? And going back to the previous slide, take a screenshot, please, so you can think about the question. Take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I go to the next one. Okay, so that's your question. Are all the points relevant to listening lessons? Let's have like 3 minutes and some more seconds for this. I wait for you. Let's cover these ones. The level of the text is important. It should challenge learners without being too difficult. Any thoughts about this one? Anybody? Is it relevant to listening lessons? Carla.
Yes, teacher, I consider where the level of the text is very important. Uh, it should be a core, sorry. For instance, if a low level of English, if the students have a text with an extensive grammar or some words that they don't understand or grammar structure that they don't understand, the students probably will get bored and will get lost. And at the end, they will abandon and skip the activity.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. This is basically the concept of I plus one. I plus one is this theoretical thing that, I mean, the student is at this level and your input, either your readings, listenings, shouldn't be at this exact level because the students are going to lose interest. As Carla mentioned, it doesn't have to be here because they are going to understand anything. I plus one is that this is the student's level plus one. A little bit further, just to provoke curiosity from the student, to learn a little bit more, but not too far that the student will say, I don't understand anything, I go. That's it. Thank you, Carla. Next one, teachers need to consider whether there is a need to pre-teach a few items of vocabulary. Anybody? I think it answers by itself. The answer is yes. We have already seen that. Teachers need to set meaningful tasks before reading, listening to help understanding or to mirror the real life situation of reading, listening for a purpose. Somebody who can comment on this?
I think it's important to teacher because if the students associate the listenings or readings in our life, it's it's better because you can learn more or maybe associate them for other subjects in your life. And it's also important for that because maybe if you don't know words, you can imagine them and associate them in your life.
Yes. Thank you. You're totally right. After reading, listening, learners should have the opportunity to compare answers with each other before checking with the teacher. I think we have already seen this. It gives you more confidence, it increases the student talking time. Next one. Listening reading skills can be subdivided to include such things as, and I always confuse the pronunciation for this, gist, understanding on a more detailed understanding. Somebody here, any comment?
Yes, teacher. Well, I consider that the third and the last part are linked. For instance, it should be subdivided. The activities should be subdivided and promote students' interest.
Mm-hmm.
And go, for
Yes.
instance, in the pre listening, we have to consider just vocabulary, general, or some words that the students are going to listen or read. And for the another step, during the listening or reading, we have to consider activities that support the comprehension to promote deep comprehension and complex comprehension. So, and
Yes.
those
Mm-hmm.
activities should promote students' comprehension in general. And the last activity, the post a reading or listening, the students should explain or show their understanding on or the comprehension of what they get of the text or
Mm-hmm.
the audio or so on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you, Carla. Yes, you're totally right. The post reading, post listening are very important. Yeah, they can connect with the reality. We can also get if they really understood everything. Yeah, that's very good. Then exercises two, it says look at the list of activities which involve listening. Tick the ones you have done in the last 24 hours. Okay, tick the ones that you have done in your last lessons. Okay. Let's see. Meletina, can you read these 5 items, please?
Okay, teacher.
Mhm.
Look at a list of activities which involve listening. Tick the ones that you have done in the last 48 hours. I
Mhm.
continue, teacher?
Yes, the five activities, please.
Oh, thank you. Made or received a telephone call, listened to a radio news bulletin, watched television news bulletin, had a conversation with a friend, listening to a lecture. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. Then we have some other activities. Here we have, probably Alina, can you read these 5 activities, please?
Okay, teacher. Have a conversation with a group of friends, watch a movie either in the cinema or on television, watch at least 10 minutes of daytime television, listen to music CD or audio cassette, taking part in a small discussion group.
Mhm. Okay, let's see. Isabel, can you explain the activity, please? Isabel, are you there?
Yes, yo soy la única, seguro,
Mhm.
¿no? Okay, we have to read activities and choose what we have done in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, in the last 45 hours, better about your life, okay, your personal life, not in classes, because most of you are probably on vacations. Okay, in the last 24 hours of your lives, I give you a couple of minutes, please. Take a screenshot of this one so I can move to the previous one.
Well, in my case, teacher,
Mhm.
I didn't do in English, but I make in Spanish. I may receive a telephone call, listen to the radio and others activity, but generally we do
Mhm.
uh, we do this in our language, no, in
Mhm.
Spanish. We don't
Not
have
even listening to music, Melatina.
opportunity. Excuse me.
Not even listening to music in
Oh,
English.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Listen music,
Mhm.
yes. But the others, generally, I didn't do.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you. Yep. How about you, Rocio? Which activities of these did you do in English in the last 48 hours?
Okay. Well, I watched a television news bulletin, but it was in a movie.
Mm-hmm,
And also,
mm-hmm,
I had a conversation with a friend in English. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
And I watched a movie either in the, not in the cinema, but on television.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I listening
And
to a
listen
music
to me.
CD or audio
Mhm.
cassette in the
Uh-huh.
music. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Let's see what other things I put on exercises. Exercise 3. Okay, these are the questions. First question: which would be harder, listening to the news on the radio or watching it on television? Why? Any thoughts? Anybody?
Teacher, for me is this listening on the radio. On the radio,
Mm-hmm.
because we know that native uh, people linking words, and
Mm-hmm.
and I have, for example, no, I have watched news on YouTube, and you have the translator, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
You have the captions,
it's
right?
words to you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I in that way I can learn new expressions. Also, I see the report, I see the notes,
Mm-hmm.
and I connect the words or the message with the report. Yeah. But for me, it's harder listening to the news on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. For me too, on the radio is much difficult. Melatina?
I'm agree with Jacqueline. For me, would be harder listening the news on the radio. Why? Because you must have more information, words, etc. But when you watch on television, you can infer the information if you don't have any meaning of some words that you don't understand. You infer, no, but in my opinion, this is, I think, is you can use your eyes, your inferring. Yeah, it's important, very important for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with you, girls. Which would be harder, talking to a friend on the telephone or face to face? Somebody? Mhm.
Teacher, to
Isabel?
me, I think it's harder to talking to a friend on the telephone because I can see her his expressions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you. In my experience, uh, when during my first month teaching Spanish in Seattle, I got a call from the bank. I answered yes, 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 yes. Next week, I got a receipt for $50 from the bank, and I didn't understand why. So I asked my host family to the lady to call the bank, and the bank said that this date at this time, this guy said yes, 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 yes. It was because I didn't understand anything on the phone, honestly. Number three, which would be harder, talking to a friend or to a group of friends? Somebody?
Hey, teacher, do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, in my case, I think that maybe in a group of friends, right? Because maybe you don't know these persons because maybe you met at the first time. But when you're talking to a friend, it's more confident, and also you can to interact with them, and you know we are something interest involved, and I think it's more confident to talk to a friend than a group.
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, it would be harder to a group of friends, but I think Isabel has a different opinion. Isabel?
For me, no one is difficult. I can talk with a friend or a group.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's different abilities. In my case, I think I would be wondering what are they talking about. If it is a group, probably I don't know their interests. Yeah, for me it would be difficult. Number four, how is watching a movie different from watching 10 minutes of daytime television?
When, from my point of view, it's much better to see or to watch 10 minutes of daytime television because you are every day having new words or getting new words is constantly.
Mhm.
But if you watch a movie in English, you watch a movie once in a while, not every day. And probably the word that you
Yeah.
get or you can learn it, you will lose or you will forget easily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Carla. Thank you. In number five, how is listening to a lecture different from listening to music on a CD? Anybody? Erika said about the number four. Ah, the number three. Would be harder talking to a friend or a group of friends. In my opinion, it's harder talking how about in a group because they feel shy or depending on the situation like bullying. Yeah. Hmm. In the number five, a lecture. Remember, a lecture is a class from a university, basically where only one person speaks. Yes, for example, history, and the teacher speaks blah 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 blah. How are they different?
The difference could be listening to a lecture. Probably for some people it could be bored, but when you listen to music, it can transmit some feelings, so it could be more interesting.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Yeah, when I prepare people for TOEFL, for example, the lectures are sometimes difficult because TOEFL, according to the TOEFL theory, they said that you don't have to know all the words, you don't have to have studied all their topics. However, sometimes they are listenings about mining engineering. But how am I gonna know that those technical words, honestly, about this rock? What is it? Obsidian? I have never listened to that word obsidian, so then I flunked on that part of the topic, honestly. So I think lectures, depending, yeah, if you are studying that program, that's fine. How is listening to a lecture different from taking part in a small discussion group? Somebody?
Teacher, it could be similar to the last one. The listening
Mm-hmm.
could be
Yep.
bored, and when you taking part of a small discussion group, you can interact with your friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or even, for example, in a training like this one, if we would have been face to face, I mean, you can pay attention to the teacher who's heading the training, but then you're divided in small groups. And yeah, they have a small discussion. I think in that way you have more confidence. Mhm. Let's see some other exercises. Exercises 4. It says, "How can the teacher help in the situation?" Let's work that situation. Let's work in the situation 1. Isabel, can you read, please? Can
Teacher?
you read the situation 1, please?
Okay, I worry more about listening than reading because you can't go back to check. Cynthia, Italy.
Thank you. How can the teacher help Cynthia?
Okay, teacher, I think in that situation, the teacher can help Cynthia by using familiar words, words that are easy for us to remember or phrases.
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh. Thank you, Karim. Playing the audio 2, 3 times. Cesar, can you read the number 2, please?
English people speak too fast and sometimes the words sound different to the way I learned them. Alejandra Chile Stadium in the UK.
Mm-hmm. How can you help Alejandra?
I think in this situation, teacher, if I was Alejandra, I will ask the speaker to speak slowly, not too fast, slowly,
Mm-hmm.
and also I will try to again just familiar phrases. I think that would be the best thing because otherwise the action is so different for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Meletina, do you have something to say?
Yes, teacher.
Mhm.
Mm, I could be help Alejandra listening keywords. After listening
Mhm.
keywords, you infer the situation and the context, and you can understand. But
Mhm.
the other part, you can tell the other person, speak slowly, please. And I think she's going to understand more. Thank you.
Thank you. Third case. My school is near the airport. Sometimes the noise of the planes stops me from understanding. Nena from Athens. Somebody? Isabel moved to another place? Probably. Yeah. It's like, again, when I remember when I was a new teacher, the international exam we had to take, it was on a Saturday where they were teaching kids, and the place was too noisy. And that's why now, when I teach for international exams, I tell the students, thanks to COVID, we have now Duolingo and TOEFL that you can take at home. So if I were you, I wouldn't choose to take TOEFL or Duolingo, well, TOEFL at IBNA, because you will have the noise from the cars, from the own students. So better now you have the chance to take it home. You get a room in which nobody disturbs you, and that's it. That's much better now. The number 4. I can understand my teacher. Oh, this is very frequent. I can understand my teacher, but other people with different accents are really hard for me to understand. Somebody for that.
Yeah, teacher. My advice for her will it will be that calm down first of all because
Mhm.
um, everyone has different accents
Mhm.
and it would be to listen to a conversation among from different people
Yeah.
because, because around the world um, we are gonna listen different voices, different accents, no?
Yeah.
Intonation, so
Mhm.
on. No? But it's okay because in the United States, each state has different accent, and
Mhm.
it's so complicated to understand them. But if the people come from other countries, it will be the same. But
Yeah,
the nice
definitely.
thing is practice, no, listen to them more. No?
Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially Australian accent is very hard. Number five. Yes. Okay, Jack. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, teacher is what's my experience because when I studied, I had experience that I understand my teacher, but not
Mhm.
when talk to other people. And well, in my case, I try to communicate with people in different countries. I connect because nowadays you can connect, but some groups of people that like to improve the language, and it was my experience. And nowadays I can talk to people to Asia, to what people who likes and also want to learn the language, and the accent is totally different. But in such situation, that's why I read some new expression and not new words to help me to interact with these people.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. Accent, Asian accent, uh, Indian accent's difficult too. Number five. English people eat their words. Maria from Madrid. I think she refers that they speak too fast. How can you help, Maria? Oh, English people. Ah, yeah. About the English, the British accent. How can you help, Maria? Jack, do you have something? I see your hand there.
No, it was because the last issue. But well, I think that
Yes.
it happened, right? Because nowadays that
Hmm.
when you speak English, that sometimes you use short words and maybe
Mm.
idioms, slangs, and also that also I recommend that people has to read, no,
Hmm.
and learn more than these words, than more than idioms and slangs, because
Hmm.
when I took talk with other people that sometimes speak in slangs and idioms, and sometimes I
Oh,
didn't understand. But what I do, and also I check on my Google and the dictionaries and try to learn that word. And nowadays I understand when they talk to them.
yeah. Yeah. It's not discrimination, but to me, it's very, very, very hard to understand Afro English. African people is crazy.
Ah, yeah,
Very crazy.
it's really really
Even
crazy
in
teacher.
Spanish, it's difficult. Yeah.
Because sometimes they use slangs too, teacher.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, even in Spanish, it's hard. In English, you're dead. Asking for directions to them, you're lost. You will
But
continue being lost.
the majority students learn this way
Yes,
because
yes.
some of them when you are in class they talk to you, but the student they know, and
Mhm.
they use the slangs and to
Mm.
catch the idea, know where they want to take you.
Yes, yes, definitely. It's like there is an investigation. It says that people prefer learning slangs and bad words, insults, rather than the standard language. When they go to other country, that's basically what they like. People like learning that. Like
Because
for example,
it's easy to
it's
use.
easy. For
It's
example,
like
the
an overland
phrase,
teacher.
the most popular phrase from Spanish to all Europe is un par más, por favor. And you know the reason why. So everybody knows that. English, German, they know. Dos más, por favor, un par más, por favor. That's the most frequent word. Dos más, por favor. That's the phrase. Dos más, por favor. Everybody knows that in Europe. Number six, I can understand videos very well, but audio tapes are quite difficult for me. Stefan from Germany. Somebody, this is our last part because I know that Steve wants to talk to you. Somebody, I can understand videos very well, but audio tapes are quite difficult for me. Somebody,
Teacher, but I think that recommend to listen to a lot of music. I think they can help her. Him or her.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, it's different one. Yeah, I think that also that
Mhm.
when you can hear a lot of music, that it can help you, right? Because when you
Yes.
maybe you see a video, you can see the subtitles. But also when you are listening, that is a little complicated. It's happened when I was studying at Britannico. It was difficult
Mhm.
to the listening part because maybe when you don't understand a word, you try to think about this word and forget and continue for the listening. And
Mhm.
that's why they
Yep.
recommend to listen. Can help.
Yeah, we have technology now, and that is a strategy also. You're facing a listening section in an international exam, you take notes. By the moment you're taking notes, the audio is already finished. So then you're dead on your listening section.
Yeah, teacher,
Okay,
but you
guys. So,
maybe you
yes.
frustrate when you hear maybe you are in a listening part and you frustrate because you don't understand a word and maybe you think in this word and the listening continue and you forget something. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
it's
Exactly. Yeah. Listening is very hard. Like, yeah, in my previous workplace, we were given IELTS. The first time, everybody failed. Okay, guys. So thanks for your attention. There were more exercises.